So another Andy B 2-minute video. Now, this is all about accountability. What do I mean by accountability? It's really simply this. It's the method, the ability, the place of having other people who can hold you accountable. And what I mean by that is not just to advise us. That's great. We need people who can advise us. But we need people who can't just advise us, but actually who can kind of force us into doing things in a righteous way. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about some sort of weird controlling thing. I was saying it's really important to have accountability, because I've got lots of people who can give all sorts of input, and some of that is just friendly advice. Oh, have you thought about doing this? Double glazing salesman, they can give you advice. But I'm not necessarily going to listen to that advice for two reasons. One, I don't own the home, so the landlord will get a bit upset. And two, it's already done. So if they came around and saying you need to get this done, it's really important, I'm just going to ignore that advice because it's not helpful and it's not appropriate. But there is advice that we need to take which is important. Let's call it righteous advice or accountability. Because in life as Christians, we're not meant to go through this thing alone. We're not supposed to just think, oh yeah, thanks for that. If we're listening to a sermon, the difference between teaching and preaching is speaking in authority over a congregation. When I preach, I take that very much to mind, because God far more is going to question those who are speaking over others in a biblical, righteous way. Teaching is simply sharing what you know. Preaching is speaking into the lives of people on behalf of God. They're both important, two things. Both important, both very different. But we need accountability. Once every so often we meet as the Berry Bunch, we have an advisory group. But they're more than an advisory group, because if these three men of God who we've got at the moment, if they said all together, look, we believe you should do this, we're going to do that. Because we've chosen them carefully, because they're godly men, because it's righteous to have others who can speak into our lives. If you're a parent, don't let your children grow up. Help them grow up. They need boundaries. Sometimes you need to force them to do what they don't want to do. That's helpful, righteous, appropriate. And it's a good setup for the rest of lives. It's really good to have friends who can advise us. It's even better to have people who will hold us to account. And as Christians, we should make ourselves accountable to others, and we should expect to hold others to account as well. You've got friends who can do that? Try and get some. Pray for some. Just a thought.